Welcome to the SoulAbility Superhuman Laboratory, where we uncover the secrets to upgrading your mind, body, soul, and business. Welcome to another episode of the SoulAbility Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mike DiMarco, and on today's episode, we have a very special guest, my good friend, UFC fighter, Corey Anderson. Corey's ranked number 7 in the world right now. He has another fight coming up in November, right?
Yep.
And I've just gotten to know Corey over the past few years, and he's one of the most genuine, nicest guys that I've ever met. And I just really wanted to get him on the show so he could share his story and some of the things that he's learned along the way with you guys. So maybe you can learn from that. And let's just get into it. So thank you, Corey, for coming onto the show. I really appreciate you doing this. I know you're busy.
Thanks for having me on the show. I'm glad I can make it out.
Yeah, man. So let's just first talk about how you got to where you're at right now. Let's give everybody a little backstory on where you started. You started in wrestling in college to ending up now ranked number 7 in the UFC in your weight class, which is pretty amazing. In like how many years?
I was ranked in the top 10 within the first year. So I've been only fighting 3.5 years, been in UFC 3 of those. So yeah, it's been, I won't say a hard road, but it's been a long road, even though it's such a short time. But I'm always in the gym. Like how did I get where I am? Just pretty much all hard work. You know, They say it all the time. Seems kind of cliche. You can do whatever you want as long as you work hard. You work hard, you earn it. And, you know, that's all I did. Coming out of college, I went straight from the national final stage to an MMA gym the next day and just never stopped. And just constantly in the gym every day, at least 2 workouts a day, never missing a workout. Even when I'm sick, you find a way to get something done. And, you know, it just pays off dividends. And now here I am at the top. With the top. Yeah. And it's just time to just keep fine-tuning and getting better.
Yeah, I mean, is fighting something you always wanted to do, or you just did wrestling as like a hobby? Or because I know you're come from like a pretty athletic family, like your brother played football and stuff like that.
Yeah, fighting was never a goal of mine. It was never a dream. It was never anything I wanted to do. From all through college, I had teammates that fought. They're like, bro, you're so good at wrestling and you box a little bit. Like as a workout, I did boxing as rehab at one point. Like, you should do fighting too. Like, nah, it's not my thing. And just Ben Askren, who was the Bellator champ at the time, was my wrestling coach in college. And after the national finals, he sent me a text and was like, yo, meet me at this gym. At first, we was wrestling for the Olympics. We was wrestling to go for Olympic trials. You know, like a few days into it, he just sent me another address, and it was an MMA gym. The next thing you know, I was never wrestled again. Never put on a singlet. I just kept on fighting.
So you just didn't like even try to go to the Olympic trials? You just went straight into
Didn't even go to the Olympic trials. But all the training, all that time, qualified for the trials and everything, just never went. Never even called, never registered for another tournament in my life. So then from there, I was training, and my old college wrestling coach gave me a call and invited me out to Southern Illinois to coach with him at Lincoln College. And that's when I ran into Mark Fiore, who was Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes is like a 9-time UFC champ. His old coach. And they all went to Lincoln as well. And they invited me down to their gym and started training with those guys. And I went down there, and just after that, it was just a success. I got my first fight out in that way. Out there in Springfield. And I'll never forget the guy saying it was a 15-second knockout. I remember saying, keep an eye on this guy, beats him 25-8. He's going to be a real deal. He's going to be a problem, you know. And a couple months later, I got my second fight. And the commentator said the same thing, like, wow, like 3-minute knockout, this kid's going to be a real dish. Your second fight, you did this. And then third fight, ended up getting a title fight out in Oklahoma against some guy who just got cut from Bellator, and the rest was history from there. Yeah. Just kind of goes to the awesome fight. Well, I had one more fight a week later, but one of those fights didn't count on my record. I can't remember which one, but it made like an exhibition because the guy, he didn't have enough fights to fight somebody of my caliber. They didn't want to get in trouble or something. But I went to Indiana, knocked another guy out in 3 minutes. Yeah, I pretty much killed that guy. But I remember his coach was saying how they was going to sue because they never told the commissioner, so never told him that I had so many wrestling matches and I had such an extensive wrestling background and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it really doesn't matter in a fight game, but people are going to find a way to make an excuse for anything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because you're still good, whether you have the fights or not.
But then we went down to Indiana and I knocked another guy out, and it was from there. Went to Ultimate Fighter. And I'll never forget, that's where I met Frank Yeager and those guys, how I ended up in Jersey from Illinois. And even on the show, it was like nobody expected me to be as good as I was because I was so young. I had just started fighting that March. At that time, it was October or September or something. And, everybody was looking past me. And the guy I fought was actually a college. He didn't wrestle on my team, but he wrestled at the same school. And he had came back and worked out with me a few times. And I had a feeling it was going to make me fight him because of the experience and the background. And everybody counted him to just beat me because he had been fighting for like 7 years.
Right.
And I had just started. And again, I beat him. And from there, it was just, I'll never forget, the producer came up and told me, like, I put you on the show. It was kind of like a joke. I did not expect you to win. But now that you're here, you only got 3 more fights and you can win this whole thing, because that was a guy I picked to win the whole show. And from there, it was just history. The fact that they doubted me and they didn't actually believe I could do it. Exactly. It's like an underdog, so I loved it. And from there, just grind in and day out on the show. Got out and kept doing the same thing, won the show, and just kept on going. Nothing changed.
Yeah, isn't that interesting though? Because like even now, like right now, so like Connor McGregor is like getting all these fights because he has the biggest mouth, pretty much. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. I think that's why he's getting these fights.
100%.
And people underestimate the guys that just like kind of keep to themselves and like are in the shadows, just like working hard and doing their thing, that have like a lot of talent that people don't even know about, when that person could just show up, and if they give that person the chance to fight or whatever, they're gonna knock that person out and they won't even know it was coming. Like, it's pretty interesting.
And not like Frank Yeager, he's a huge example. He doesn't talk trash like Connor does, so he gets looked over on a lot of these big fights he should have. But then, like when he went in there against Yair Rodriguez, a lot of people, some people are like, oh, Frank is so much of a veteran, Yair doesn't have a chance. But other people are like, oh, Yair is too fancy, oh, blah, blah, blah. He's going to kill Frankie. And Frankie went out there and just destroyed him.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close, because just because we don't talk, we let our hard work, we like to go under the radar. They keep looking over us, but when we come out there, we're going to shine. And you're going to remember us. You're going to remember the name then. Then they start asking questions. But then again, Frankie is just sit back and he won't say anything. So it goes to a point where you hear people stop talking about Frankie Yeager or me or Frankie Perez. Our team is so small and nobody talks trash. But when we step up to the plate, we show up and we show out. And that's the whole point.
Yeah, I don't get that, why people think they have to talk trash in order to get fights. I guess it's like kind of a side effect of society. Like, they reward that behavior by giving them fights or like giving them publicity or giving them more money for a fight just because people are going to watch it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like kind of discrediting and like making the sport not as good as it could be, I think.
I mean, what I think of what people ask me why I don't like Connor McGregor. Like you said, because he talks a lot of trash. And if you go back to the beginning of sports as a kid, they always teach you sportsmanship. Shake opponent's hands. After every game, you line up, you shake hands. Good game, good game. You don't talk trash.
Right.
If you talk trash, your coach usually bench you. You get in trouble, get pulled out the game. It's always taught, instilled in you all the way into your college. You go all the way up to college and the same thing. Senior in college, we still line up. We're grown men, 22, 23 years old. And we line up, we shake hands, and we still say, good match, good match. To grown, it's like a sportsmanship thing. And then you get to the pro level, and a lot of guys that was college athletes that know that, but they trying to play the game. They want to get paid. So they're trying to talk trash, and I see myself as never stooping to that level.
Do you think he was always like that, or like he became that way because he wasn't getting like the attention in the fights that he wanted to get?
I don't even think either. I know he wasn't like that. I don't think he was ever just like that. But I think he just came to the game and just took a page out of Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson was, the press conference talking trash. That's the stuff that people love. He wanted to come there. He wanted to make a name for himself.
Right.
When you come in with losses already into the UFC, he came in with 2 losses already.
Right.
They was doubting that he was going to do the things he do. So he had to talk himself up. And it's kind of like, you get a person that's like a liar, a person that lies a lot, eventually when they say it so much, they start to believe themselves.
Right.
And it's similar to the same thing. He just went in there, he talked to trash. He talked to trash just to get the part. And he got to the point where he just started believing his own hype. And then now look, he's successful with it. And you can't be mad at him. He did the right thing. And a lot of us fighters, we hate when people compare us. Like, oh, it should be more like Connor McGregor. You hate that. But at the same time, if you want to make the millions and you want to make the big bucks like he does, everybody calling out for money fights now. But if you want the money fights, you literally have to become a Conor McGregor.
Right.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, but I think, like you said, like there are some lessons to learn in that whole thing. Even if you don't want to be like him, like he was able to shift his mindset into a different way of thinking completely, like, and change his belief into believing that he was like the champ. Well, maybe he didn't believe he was the champ when he lost 2 times going to the UFC. Like, is there anything that like you've done to shift your mindset, or do you always kind of think like how you think currently, or do anything to like hype yourself or to kind of prep you for like your walk down to the ring? Or there's like a whole kind of like, I'm sure it's insane in your head.
Prior, I've always had the mindset just thinking, like I said, I work so hard and I know there's nobody that can outwork me. Like, you know, you ask people, how's Corey in the gym, and tell you that he's a workhorse. You never find anybody that works hard at him. And the reason is because I literally sit in practice. As I'm practicing, I'm watching around, I see the people, and I'm waiting to see who's the first person on the mat. I always want to be the first person on the mat. And if somebody beat me to the mat side, I'm going to try to work. I got to work twice as hard as him now to equal the amount of time he's been on the mat. And then I always want to be the last one off the mat. And, you know, and that's the mindset I took into every match in college and fighting the same thing. I know I was the first one in the gym, last one out. And if he's like supposed to be the best guy in the world and his team, I know I can beat this guy I got to match up with because he's nothing like that. And I worked harder than him. I know when I first got here, I'll never forget, my brother came out with me. The first practice, Frankie was there. We got to the gym. Frankie was jumping rope. My brother threw me my jump rope. What that means, like, you better got to start jumping. Frankie's the best out here. Started jumping. And when practice was over, I started to walk off the mat. He looked at me like, where you going? Like, I was going to grab a drink of water. He's like, Frank ain't grabbed a drink yet. Keep going. Like, you have to hour. If you want to be the best, we know Frankie's the best. You got to do everything he does and more. You stay on there at least 5 minutes after he's gone. And that's always been the mentality. It's definitely in training. Like, the team say I go a little too hard, you do too much. Right. You're training too much, you're overtraining. But my mind, it's more of a mental thing. When I step into that fight, I know that this guy didn't do nearly as much as I did to get here. And, you know, and now my mindset is changing to the point where I've been watching these fights. I see the guys getting praise in my division. The guys is coming into the division and making noise so fast. And it's like, I've been here this long now. I worked hard in these guys and developed this new mindset where I'm just saying, I used to be I'm not going to be cocky. I'm always going to be a good sport. Right. But to the point where I'm just saying, F the whole 205 division. You know what I mean? I can say that if I give too much respect to guys, and I think that's a problem. I go in there, I don't destroy guys like I know I can because I have too much respect for my opponents. But now I'm new mindset to go out there like somebody, they disrespected in my mind, I'm thinking like, these guys disrespecting me, my family, and everything I work for. So I got to go out here and just go for the blood. Go out here with a mindset to not so much kill somebody, but destroy them, you know, make them, next time they see me, if they ever walk past me again, they don't want to make eye contact because that ass whooping I gave them was so bad, you know, and that's just, I mean, that's the mentality I had in wrestling though, because that was my thing. I would watch the guys wrestle in a tournament. I was always like number 1 seed or number 2, so I wouldn't wrestle to the second round. And I watched like, you let this guy have a close match with this guy, and that guy's ass. So I be sitting there just staring. When they turn off the mat, they say I'm just staring. I just shake my head. And next match, I would like push him off the mat, slam him into the bleachers. Stuff I shouldn't be doing. Like we'd be way out of bounds. The ref would blow the whistle, and I still pick him up and slam him in the bleachers, just so I know he knew you cannot mess with me. Like I'm about to hurt you, bro. Like it's gonna be bad. And literally, second round, they would break every time. They would look at me. They look down at the mat, look at their coach. They did not want to be there anymore. And it was just a mentality I had. Like tell the coach, like, oh, you gotta be humble. You gotta stop. Like, man, fuck him. So I used to get in trouble all the time. I run sprints for saying that so much. But it was just a mindset I had as an athlete. That
reminds me of like, kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he would play tricks on the guys before like, you ever see Pumping Iron?
Yes.
When he like, you know, he would like play mind tricks on people before, like he was like messing with Lou Ferrigno's head, like telling him he's not going to win, and like having breakfast with him and his family, like kind of infiltrating his mindset. And then like Kenny Waller like stole Mike Katz's like t-shirt, like his clothes are missing before the show. He's like messing with his head, like playing like mind games like that to like show like you're dominant. I think there's really like actually like a pretty powerful thing to do, like when you're a competition.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like with the Connor McGregor and Aldo fight. He took Aldo's belt probably like 5 times during their whole little tour thing they did. They did a tour around the world. And McGregor kept taking Aldo's belt. Let him know, like, this is my belt now. Like, this ain't your belt. I'm the champ. This is my belt. Then he did the same thing for Eddie. I don't think he got into Eddie's head because Eddie is kind of like a trash talker as well. And you can't really bother Eddie. Eddie Alvarez just got to, we train with him. He got a mentality. It's like, you say what you want, but it's kind of like he's looking through you. He doesn't get all riled up like most people do. But in that fight, he just out-fought Eddie. With the Aldo fight, you can tell he got in Aldo's head. When the bell rang, Aldo sprinted across the cage trying to hurt him, which is not his style. He sits back. And, you know, Conor did exactly what he's supposed to do. He did everything he could to get into Aldo's head. It threw him off his game. And he knew if he ran forward and I landed this one shot, it's a wrap. And that's exactly what happened. He ran forward and literally got hit with one shot, and the fight was over. You know?
That's all it takes, I guess. Sometimes.
Yeah, I think Conor knew if he sat there and if Aldo fought his game, picking shots from the outside, he's so fast, he's so quick, he wouldn't have been able to get him.
Yeah.
But he knew if I can get in his head long enough on his tour and make him step into my trap, it's over.
How many hours a day do you train?
It's like a full-time job, probably 6 to 8. You know, I'm
really?
trying to tone back a little bit so far out on the fight so I don't drain myself. Yeah. But it's kind of hard.
Yeah, because we talk about that, like how important recovery is. Like,
yeah.
You know, so like if you're training that much, and obviously there's probably breaks in between like training and stuff like that. Like, what are you doing for like recovery?
Naps and eating a lot.
Naps and eating.
Eat before training, eat after training, drink protein shakes, and take a nap.
Yeah,
that's recovery.
How much you weigh right now? You like gained a bunch of weight.
Yeah, I'm like 235 right now.
Yeah, I was trying to get you to go up to 60, but
yeah, we're not going there.
Just want you to get as big as possible.
When I hit 240, it was like I was slowing down. It felt horrible. But yeah, other than that, recovery is just different things. You got to go to physical therapists to get my body taken care of. I do ice baths and cryotherapy. Getting adjusted, Normatec boots, things like that. You know, I do certain things like that 2-3 times a week to keep the blood flowing and the bones and muscles all clicking in the right spot. So,
yeah. Do you do any like meditation or anything like that, or you just like basically just fight like jujitsu or wrestling is like kind of
that's my meditation. You know, that's at ease with my mind. Wrestling and jujitsu. When you striking, boxing and sparring, it's kind of hard to be at peace when somebody finna punch you in the face. But when you on the mat, you kind of just rolling. You know, we start sitting on the mat and you rolling and grappling. That's more of a peaceful place. You know, you think it's more like playing chess. It's more chess game. You're strategic. You're moving slow. You're always thinking about the dangers of what can happen here. What can happen if I do this? So you got to think three moves ahead before you even attempt one move. So, you know, that's kind of where I do my meditation. You see some guys before practice, they sit on the side, they meditate. Or we got some guys, we got a couple guys that's Russian, it's the Muslims, and they do their little prayers in the locker room. You know, everybody have their own little different thing. But for me, as you go out, get a warm up, and then as I'm rolling, my mind's kind of like in another place, not so much stressed out about much. And jiu-jitsu practice is like if you get caught, you get subbed, you tap. So it's not like much danger there, but in sparring, if you do something wrong or you get hit in the wrong spot, you get knocked out. You know, you can get your eye broke or your elbow broke or something crazy. So it's kind of hard to be at peace. You're always on your toes and your heart rate is pumping. You got your adrenaline, but jiu-jitsu is just so calm. Right. A lot of laughter. It's more of a
choking people out or laughing.
Yeah, you know, you get it. Oh, my bad, bro. You laugh out like it's good. You shake hands, you do it again.
Yeah, so. I think a lot of people don't realize that they do some kind of form of like meditation. Everyone thinks that you have to like clear your mind completely, and that's like, I think it's impossible. Yeah, it's just whatever your focus is on. And your focus is on like just, you know, rolling with somebody, and there's something like really kind of like primal to that. Like, I think humans are supposed to do things like that, like move and move in a certain way, and kind of even just compete physically against each other. And that's why it's so.
Since the beginning of time, wrestling is the world oldest sport. Back in the day, when they had gladiators, all that stuff. It was men competing against each other to prove something. Whether who's the better man, or they was fighting for their wife, or fighting for their country, whatever it is, you had to prove it. It's a manly thing, and that's why I love it. You know, there's no politics, and it is politics, but when you step in the cage and you fight somebody, you know at the end who's the better man. Even the one fight that I had, everybody said it was a controversial loss against Shogun. Yeah, I lost on paper, but if you ask anybody in the world right now, they still say you won that fight. You beat the crap out of that guy. But he knows that. You know, the guy in their team, they know that. You know, when you go out there and you lose the fight, you go back to the center, you shaking your head already like we didn't win. And then the ref give it to you. It's not like okay, it's good for your record and it's good for your career, but as a person, you don't actually believe you won. So.
Right. So you care more about the actually like what happened in the fight than letting the decisions of like the judges or somebody else by points saying like, all right, well, you lost.
Yeah, personally, yes, but in the career, you have to.
I mean, it's important. There's like a balance, like a balancing act, right?
Yes. In my career, you have to have the judge's approval or the ref raise your hand to move forward, to have a long career or a successful career. But as for a person mindset wise, like I know I won that Shogun fight, so that doesn't bother me as much. Yeah. It just bothers me the fact, like if you look, Shogun now is ranked like 3rd in the world, or 3rd or 4th, something like that, and I'm now down at 8 or 7, wherever it is. But if they would have gave me that fight, I would have been in 3rd, and I could have been even closer to a title fight. You know, it's just the way the game works.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like, it's very similar to how like entrepreneurs and people who are like successful in business approach things too, because especially if you're like kind of spiritual and you really know like who you are, like yourself, because you have to make these like wins in real life. Like you have to make money and you have to beat your competition and you have to sell so many products and or whatever. There's like these metric points that you have to hit. But if you don't hit them because maybe the market was bad or something that was out of your control that you couldn't control, but you knew like you did the best and like your thing was actually the best. Like some people get stuck in like, my product is the best, but they don't balance it with like the metric points of like reality that you have to go with. So like it has to actually be something that people want, even though it's like something that could change the world, or people have to actually know about it, or you actually have to make it profitable. Like there's all these other factors that to be successful in like business, or it's the same thing as like a fight. Like you can't let it get into your mindset, but you have to know that it's important.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, you can have the best product in the world, but if you ain't in key with society or what people need or want at that point in time, it doesn't matter, because the world will never know what you have. Nobody will buy it because it's not marketing to the right spot.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like been a crazy journey, and I've known you for like 2 years now.
2 years now, yeah. Well, let's see, it was September 1st, what was it, 2015 when we first met, right before I went to fight Jan Blachowicz.
And that was kind of like, I was starting out a little bit too. It was like my first year-ish in business here. And, you know, it took a little while for you to kind of, I think, trust me.
Yeah.
but once you build that trust, things kind of changed. And you're from Illinois originally.
Yep.
Like, and you've been living in Jersey for 3 years?
Yep.
Like, what do you like about, that's got to be like a big change, like a big difference.
Yeah, it's a huge change. I mean, you got places like New York and New York and Chicago. They're similar. Then you got like Newark, New Jersey, and
that's not even...
then Newark and Rockville, Illinois, which is very similar. We got the similar places, but where I'm from, Rockton, Illinois, is just a very small place. Like they dedicated a street sign to me last week. And the street sign, yeah, you can also see like the population of the town on right above the sign. It says there's 7,568 people there now. And when I was in high school, it was like 1,400. So, you know, when I grew up, there was very small town. But when I saw that, I was in Brick at the time, so I Googled, and everybody say Brick is like one of the smaller cities in New Jersey. And I Googled to see how many people were there. and it was 42,516 people in Brick, which is a small city for New Jersey. So you compare where I'm from, 7,000. I told people that, and it was kind of like, what in the like that's one little block in New Jersey because it's so polluted, so many people on top of people. It's very
concentrated.
Exactly. So for me, it was definitely different when I came out here at first, and everything was like so fast paced. Everything was moving. People, cars, the little jug handlers, all these confusing things. But I like the most about it is everybody here is on the hustle. There's not many people here that work for people. No. Everybody where I'm from, they either have their own business, that's because it's a family business, or they're a farmer, so that's their business, and they're a truck driver. But most people my age or my generation, they're content working at 9 to 5, working at a McDonald's, or they all, when I go back, most of my friends still live with their parents, or if they out on their own, they got like 6 kids and they got a wife, but they ain't got no money. They don't have any goals. They just living day to day, going to 9 to 5, make the money, get a little bit of chance to go golf into a week. That's a great week to them.
Right.
But like here, it's like everybody I know, they do their own thing. They got their own. My best friend, Frank Perez, got his own DJ company, clothing line, MMA promotion.
Well, I think it's the people you're surrounding yourself with.
No, but when I go out and meet people, they're all the same way. Everywhere I go and meet people, I guess it's here. It's like they say, you build your circle. Yeah. Build a circle around people that's on the same mission as you. But it's just like here, you can tell. People can tell when you about something. Those people that tend to flock to you here. When back home, it's just like a bunch of mixed breeds. You got like one person in the group that'll be successful. So say like if I go back with my friends, I'm successful. Then you got another friend that's still is 29, live with his parents. Then you got another friend that's 30 or 29 and got like 7 kids, and on his second wife, or it's just like nobody has a set circle of goals. Like here, every single person I hang out with, they always talking about goals. I want to this month I want to travel to Australia, and then the next week I want to go to Brazil. But I got so much going on with my wedding season. I'm busy. And the other friend, I got a bunch of photos to do. Or you send a text on the weekend like, yo, I'm off today. Anybody want to kick it? And everybody responds to a group text, like 15 people. And you get 14 messages back with everybody saying they can't because they got some gig or they busy. That's a good feeling you have. Like when I see that, like, yeah, it's okay. They don't want to, we can't hang out. You don't get time with your boys. But at the same time, you're happy for your boys because everybody is about money right now. Everybody is out. They got that hustle mindset. They're going to do whatever they got to do to make it, Yeah. And, I'm guilty of it. It's not a bad thing to be guilty of, but like when I hear people talking about work, like, oh, I need somebody that can do this job for such and such. I just pay them like $150, and I always volunteer to do it. Like, I do it. Like, bro, you're a professional fighter. I don't
nothing's
care.
Below you.
Yeah, I'll do anything to make money. I'm about making paper. Bills got to be paid. It don't matter who I am, If I can get along with training and do that, I'll do it. And people know that about me now. And times they'll call me and do it, and sometimes they won't call me just because they're looking out for my career. Like, bro, you can't do everything. Like, you can't teach. I got Nick Tones. I tell them all the time, such thing cover. Like, I can teach. Like, cool, you got to train, you got to fight. I'm like, I'll figure time. But at the same time, they're looking out for me. Like, you have to worry about your career first. Yes, you're going to make the money in the long run, but you can't continue to just keep wanting to do everything. Yeah. But that's just my mindset. I got that hustle mentality, and that's why I love the friends and the people here, because everybody has that.
What do your parents do?
My parents own a roofing company.
They're on a roofing company? Did you
started
work in
from
it?
The bottom. Yeah, I started my whole life from 3rd grade till I graduated college. I worked it. And I got the call to do a wrestling coach, and I went and tried that, and I liked that way better, know? And it was, not the fact, my dad always say, you lazy, because I don't want to be on the roof. But it ain't the fact, I'm not afraid to do the work. I go home and help him out today. If I go home, he need help, I'll put boots and stuff, go on the job site. And everybody like, yo, ain't you Corey Anderson, the fighter, blah, blah, blah. You his son, what you doing out here? Like, he needed my help. Yeah. Well, I'm saying, no, I got to come help my father. But multiple times I'll be driving through Indiana. My dad would call me like, yo, I heard you in Indiana. One of my guys had to go home. His wife was sick, blah, blah, blah. Can you come out to the job site and help me? And I'll just stop in Indiana and stay at the hotel for like 3 days and help them on the job site. And people like, yo, aren't you? They come when truck drivers delivering stuff, and I'm out there unloading the crane. Like, aren't you Corey Anderson? Like, yeah, like, what are you doing here? Like, help my father. It's his company.
Putting a roof on.
You you got to do what you got to do. Like you said, I'm not too good for anything. And that's just a mentality you got to have. And I feel it's more out here than where I'm from. Because here, a lot of people
there's a lot of people like that here. They don't want to, they think things are below them.
Yes, that's what I was just going to get into. I mean, you got a lot of people here, their parents give them a lot of things too.
Sure.
Like I know most of the people here.
There's an entitlement a lot of places.
Most of the people here still live with their parents if they're my age.
I think it's because it's expensive to live here.
Yeah.
And like our whole system's set up. Like you go to college and you come out with this like massive debt, and they don't actually prepare you to like have a job or a job that pays you well enough to like live on your own. So you're like, there's a constant struggle, and no one ever teaches you to like figure out what you want to do with your life. Whereas like, you kind of figured it out like through fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of people that don't. They're like, I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to make money. And they look at models of other people and they try to like copy that model exactly. And it doesn't work out because it's not them. Instead of like following their own path because they figured out what they're good at, or someone pushed them that way rather than they just latched onto it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess another thing that's different, because when I first got here and I saw that, every time I go to a friend's house, I think it was their house, and all of a sudden their parents come over like, yo, what? Oh, yeah, it's my parents' house. Like, what? And I was always confused because where I was at, the goal was when you turn 18 to get your own place. You go to school, you come out, you get out of school, you get your own place. You don't go back in with mom and dad. Another thing was if you wanted a female, like you try to take a female back to your parent, they wasn't going. Like, no, this is your parents' house, and they just get up and leave. And here, I'll never forget the first party I went to with a bunch of friends. It was a house party at someone's parents' house, and the parents lived there. It was when we walked in the house, their parents were in the living room. The parents went downstairs, locked the door, and they never came. And like females coming up,
That's weird.
Females come on, like hang out the whole night. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
My parents weren't like that. So.
Yeah, and it was like the girls.
You know,
like,
my mom was
yeah,
like that.
but the females did not care the fact that they was at their parents, because they all. That's what I'm saying. Here is like all of them do the same thing, and they either on their own hustle, or you got the group of parents that give their kids everything until it's too late, you know? And you see that. You can see where that's going. You hear the girls is getting plastic surgery all the time, but they working at McDonald's or something. Like, you know damn well you don't have the money for that. Mom and dad pay for it. They driving BMWs and Mercedes. All the kids here in high school driving fancy cars, and you know you didn't earn that. Your parents gave it to you.
They're driving cars that we had to earn.
Exactly.
That we had to work our way up to.
And like I said, it's good and bad. You got those that's hustling. Like I put it this way, all my friends that hustle didn't go to college. Let's put it that way. All the ones that's out here grinding, making the ends meet, none of them went to college. They got their high school degree. Some of them didn't even graduate high school. They dropped out. They started doing their own thing. And the ones that their parents are pushing them into college and paying for everything while they're in college, and they get out and they expect their parents to keep paying. It's like you said, they don't teach you how to prepare yourself.
Right.
So when they get out, the parents feel kind of like they supposed to take care of them.
Well, they also teach like that, the way the parents are teaching them. And it's like supporting them, giving them everything. And then school, the way the school teaches you is to like constantly look to somebody else to like take care of you or give you something. Like the power to do anything is like, all right, my parents will take care of me, or my teachers will give me the guidance. Like they never learn how to just listen to themselves. Whereas like your friends that just after high school or whatever kind of started doing their own thing, like you have to be able to do that. You have to figure that out.
But them same kids also that their parents are getting that still in their house, where we're going to give you things, they got to give you this. Most of them that go on and start a successful business, or if they take over their family's business, it's like their parents gave them like $1 million loan or something like that, you know? Something crazy. It's like you really didn't earn it, but they was at home long enough they was able to save up their own money. Their parents gave them a huge loan to start it. So at that point, when they started the business off, it's going to be hard for them to fall in debt. You know, so eventually it will get to a struggle. You'll see all the time when things got rough, the books weren't adding up, and you got to start liquidating stuff to figure out how to get your money, and you realize nothing's going to be given to you anymore. Now you got to figure it out on your own, and that's usually when those companies crumble. You see companies go up and they come down just as fast, just because they didn't know how to value their money. They don't value a dollar. Or they started a company, they think because I own a company I can travel the world all the time, and they're not there running it. They leaving their employees. The employees don't give a damn. You know, they getting their paycheck. Like I see that every day when I go back and when I go back and visit my dad's company. You got those guys. You can see those guys is there literally just for the check. You know, the guys don't care how the company runs. Then you got the group of guys that care, that's been there with you since the beginning, so they know the value in it. So they're gonna value their time, they value your time, and make sure the job is done right. But then you got the guys that get sent over from the union. They just go job to job, getting paid.
There's
and
no
they
loyalty.
Exactly. They don't care if the job ain't half finished. They can leave a whole hole in the roof uncovered and it's about to rain. Thunderstorm coming. They clocked in. They got their 8 hours. They clocking out. They won't do a second more than 8 hours. They watch. You see them checking their watch all day long. As soon as that 8 hour strike, you see them going down the ladder. Like, what are you doing? We still got to finish the roof.
Right.
I did my 8 hours. And, that's the same thing. You got the kids like that. They grow up into you want to say adults, but they never trigger out their adult mentality because they don't even know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know how to pay a bill. When I had my first place at 19, I moved out at 17. At 19, I got my first place. And I never, I didn't have to write any checks or nothing yet because I was in college. Mm-hmm. I was dependent till I was 18. I was living in dorms. When I got my first place and I had a girlfriend who had her own place. She had a kid. She showed me all that, things I didn't know. But I developed as a young man. I had to figure it out on my own. But you got guys here that's 27 and still ain't never had to do that. Still ain't never paid a bill, never paid insurance. But they don't know how the car insurance work because it's just all on mommy and daddy's,
That's crazy.
It's just, that's today's generation. And it's sad. And people look at me and they always say, you different. And I like that. Because I don't want to be known like this millennial. So they keep calling us the millennials. I don't want to be one of those.
I don't get that either because I don't want to hand out at all.
At all. Like, I'm nothing like that. Since I was 17, I left home at 17. I never called home to my parents for anything. Even when I was in college, I couldn't get loans or anything because I was 17 years old in college. And then my father made so much money and I couldn't get financial aid or nothing. But I never once called home and said, Mom and Dad, I need this. Dad, can you do it? I'm going to figure it out.
That's good mentality.
And that's how I've gotten
Sometimes you have to ask for help. I mean, that's like what your coaches are for now. Exactly. And stuff like that.
As a coach or a teacher, what do I do? How do I do this? I never wanted my parents to feel like I need them to make it in life. Mm-hmm. Not like anything against them, but it was just a thing for me. When I left home at 17 to go to school, like that was my time to become an adult. 17 years, I watched my dad hustle and bustle. Nobody gave him anything. He was a baby of 10 kids and they was broke, nothing. Like 10 people in a 2-bedroom house with not a dime in their name. He went out and did it on his own. So I want to do the same thing. Yeah,
so you learn from him.
Exactly. Like I tell him all the time, he called me about taking over his company. Like, that's your legacy, You did your thing to get your money. I want to do my own. Like, I don't want to. I guess it's more of a fact. I don't want anybody to say your dad handed you that, and that's why you got millions of dollars. I'm going to earn mine. And that's just how I want it to be.
That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of people don't. They'll just take the handout and just like kind of settle. But then they're never happy. They're never fulfilled because they know deep down inside they didn't earn it, or it's not their dream. It's really not their dream. Like they're living someone else's dream just for like money, like a paycheck, when money is just really like a measurement tool to show you like where you're at.
I mean, like I said, it's a lot of people that's like that. We know one personally. I ain't gonna say the names, but we know one that is giving everything, that focuses on one thing. Some people only focus on one thing. They don't, like, okay, you got a person that want to just focus on fighting. They don't want to focus on the other responsibilities of life, paying bills and everything is given to them. And then they go out and they win or whatever it is. They do what they do. And they just continue to take and take and take and take and take, and they never give back, or because they never had to earn it.
Right.
You never got to the point where you had to, where you do this and I do this for you, or that's the way it was with my father. Like, I never had good grades, and we always worked for allowances. But when it got to the point up until I was 12 years old, if I wanted something, my dad would be like, all right, you get straight A's this semester or whatever this quarter, and I'll buy you that thing. Then when I turned 12 and I would ask for things, it was like, if you want it, you old enough to go out there in the shop, you know how to drive the trucks, go do something, and I'll write you a little check. I'll pay you, you'll earn it. And it got to a point where I realized there's no handouts. Like when I was 12 years old, I'll never forget, I asked my father for a PS2 because everybody in school had one but me. I never had one. And he went off on me. I was like, boy, you want to spend my money on a video game? Because I'll never buy you anything again in your life. Remember this, I'll never buy you another toy or anything else because you just asked for that. And that's just been it since I was 12 years old. I'll never forget the moment. That's 12 years old, my dad says, you want something, you're going to go outside, you're going to work. We had 7.2 acres of grass that could be cut. We had horses that could be fed, groomed, dogs to be bred.
You had horses?
We had horses, dogs, goats, everything. Chickens, the eggs, we did it all. So my dad said, you got a million things around here you can do to earn your money. Don't ever ask me for a dime if nothing ain't done. And that's just always been the mindset. I've never went and asked anybody for something for free and expect them to give it to me, and that's it. You know, when people try to give me something, I'm like, no, thank you, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, or I will go do something or let me pay you back.
I think sometimes you have to like let them, because you're like letting them feel good about giving you something too.
No, I don't want that.
You have to.
That's just not me.
It's like, because some people will just like feel good giving, you know.
It's just like it's a lot of gyms I train at, and people are like, oh, you have to pay a mat fee? I'm like, no, but I also come in and teach class for them. Right. You call, like, you want me to teach a class, or I come in and clean the mat, but you got guys that come into the gym, they're trained, and Nick or whoever it is, whoever the affiliate is, but oh yeah, you can come in today, whatever, and they won't charge them, but they'll clean the mats and just leave. And I'm like, bro, and I stop my door like, you ain't gonna do nothing? All right. And next time they come back, they're like, oh, it's a mat fee, and they get mad like, well, that's time I didn't have to pay, and they don't understand why. Like, you just took. And you didn't understand what they really wanted was something back. So that's just your fault.
Well, it's like you can take it, but like actually appreciating, like actively appreciating it is a whole nother level. Yeah. Like people that do that, they don't really appreciate it. They just expect it. Like their expectation is like the same thing, and the entitlement. Like they're entitled to it. Like someone owes them something, and that's like the mentality of like the millennial kind of avatar that people are creating. That they say that people of this, like our age range and maybe a little bit younger, that they're just entitled, and that's like their mindset because of their parents gave them everything or whatever. And I hate labeling people, because I'm not like that, you're not like that, and we know a lot of people that aren't like that. Like, I just don't know where it came from, because there's people that are older, like baby boomer age, like those kind of things, I feel like have the same kind of mindset. So why, I don't know, they like kind of segmented people into these generations that kind of don't really exist, when it's just like human nature to be that way. If people are giving you something, then you expect it. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that was like a lot. That was a lot.
That was a lot of truth bombs dropped in the world real fast.
Oh, yeah. So you have this fight coming up in November. Like, what are you thinking about it?
Go out there and dominate.
Yeah.
That's it. Simple. Don't think too much on it. That's a problem. Some people get in there thinking too much. I got to do this. I got to do that. All I'm saying is go out there and dominate. And if I go out there and do what I do every day in the gym, I can dominate in every aspect of every fight there is I have. And that's just the point now. I just got that simple mindset. F the whole 205 division. Go out there, make a point, make a statement, walk out, get ready for the next one.
Right. Oh, yeah. Also, you and Jenny are engaged, right?
Yes.
Like, when are you guys getting married?
I think January. We're just gonna go to cross something simple. But
when did you meet her? I don't even know the story.
I met her when I first fight. Actually, the day I walked into the gym. That day I walked into the gym. She was the welcome lady at the gym I went into, and that's why I met her. She was the one behind the desk scanning people in, and so that was like 3.5, 4 years ago now. I met her in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where she's from, and what was it, like last January we actually started like dating. It was like the day before New Year's. We went on our first real official date.
I thought it was way longer.
Well, like I said, I've known her, but we trained together. Like I would go to the gym and she would be in the gym there. We trained together. We would have small talk. July before we went on our first date was our first time like really hanging out. Like we did a podcast, she had a podcast, and helped her with that. And then we started getting coffee and we would go get dinner. But like I said, I've known her for the 4 years, but I've never actually was on like a relationship level, like interest. Like I always thought she was attractive, but there was never the interest of where we are now until like 2.5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I mean things like kind of fall in place the way they're supposed to. I think.
But yeah, like I said, that's one thing we said. We never pushed anything. It got to the point where we realized nobody ever even asked anybody out. And she was out here living in Jersey, and we had a place together.
Yeah, she just moved out here.
Yeah, it was click. Everything was clicking so well because we came from the same background. We knew so much about each other from the gym life. She was at my very first fight, and she was at my very first UFC fight. Just so happened, not there for me, but for other people that happened to be on the card. Some of our good friends, we fought on the same card, and she happened to be there. So she's been there for the whole journey pretty much. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy how that works out.
Yeah, you guys are good together, I think.
Yeah, we actually when I fought my first UFC fight, she didn't realize it until after we was dating for like a year. She had a picture on her phone she was sitting right behind me on the plane. Like we was talking on the plane, her and her best friend on the plane back from me winning the Ultimate Fighter.
Oh my God.
It's like just so happened just the whole time we've always been right there in front of each other, but it's never been to the point where we're in a relationship now. And I think that's why it worked so well. It was never pushed. It was never forced. It was never tried, or even anybody ever tried to hook us up before. Just one day went for coffee and we hit it off and just kept on kicking it. And now we're here.
That's like so many people now are like trying to force like a relationship with someone. They're like on Tinder and like whatever, swiping. I don't even know what it is. And like online, and they're just like going on constant dates, and they're like looking for this like one person that's gonna like complete them and fit all their things, instead of just finding someone that's like they just get along with. You know, they have to have this like perfect person in their head that they created that doesn't even exist, instead of maybe that person's been there like literally like sitting behind them on the plane the whole time. Like been there the whole time.
Everything in the phone and everything, but you never even. Like she even said when we got together, like I remember watching your first fight, like, oh my God, that's Corey. Like he's good. My first UFC fight, like, wow, Corey got even better. And it was like we had small talk and text messages. It's like, oh, congratulations, oh, thank you. We should be fighting. Congratulations on your fight, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, I tell people now, they're like, oh, I'm looking for this. Like, that's your problem. You're looking.
Right.
Don't even look. Because I told you all the time, I was in the player stage when I came across her. Like I was having fun doing my thing, just kicking it, going on dates, whatever. And we started hanging out, like slowly. I just started cutting every female.
But you weren't like looking for something. So that's when you find it.
But when I found it, I just like slowly just started weeding them out, started distancing myself from other females, and to the point where she was the only one there. And that was it.
It's kind of like you weren't really looking for like to be a UFC fighter.
No.
And it just found you.
It just found
like
me.
The same. You just let it happen.
It just took off fast.
Right.
Know?
Yeah. And that's something to be said. Like you have to once you just like let things happen, like the universe kind of just the universe kind of just pushes things in your direction, and you just accept them. And then they like the path that you're supposed to be on is like the path that you end up being on, you know? So like, what is your ultimate like vision goal for where you are? Like not just UFC, like beyond, you know? Like, do you have that, or do you just kind of?
I got an exit plan, end goal, business plans. I got all kinds of plans, but it all comes down to just being happy with life. I ain't worried about being a millionaire. I ain't worried about making a lot of money. I just want to be happy.
Right.
You know, as long as I'm paying bills.
So, like, what would make you happy?
Be a coach.
Be a coach.
That was my dream job when I was coaching college wrestling. If I could continue to do that and fight, I would have definitely stuck with it. But it was hard to balance the two between being with those kids on the road all the time, being a financial counselor and academic counselor and all that, helping these guys with their career, and worry about mine. I couldn't balance the two. So, but the plan is to go back when I retire, coach, and open my own gym and live happy till it's over.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to want you as a coach. Yeah. At that point.
Yeah.
And it's still now, but obviously you can't do everything. Like you want to do everything, but you can't.
Trust me, I wish I could, but I can't.
You have to segment, just like how your friends are telling you, people tell you like you can't do everything. Like you really can't. You have to like kind of focus on the one things that are going to get you to that ultimate goal, so then you can help everybody. Help the people you really want to help.
I can't remember the guy. I think his name was Robert from Shark Tank. Robert or Richard, whatever. A white guy on Shark Tank.
I don't know.
Can't remember.
I don't really watch it.
Well, one of them, he came to a speaking engagement to us at the UFC retreat. And after we sat down, I talked to him. And I asked him, like, you know, I got all these business plans and I want to open a car wash and blah, blah, blah.
Car wash?
Well, that's just other stuff I want to do, just that's because it's quick cash.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk.
You know, you can't tax that. But, and he told me, like, can you focus on that 100% and fight 100%? And he knew it was like a no answer. Right. You can't do both. Like, well, that's your answer. Wait till you're done fighting and do anything else. And that was it. When he said that, and he's been that successful, he said, there's no way you can do two things 100% at the same time. So.
Yeah, you can't. Unless you have like a team of people doing it for you.
That you trust, but.
It's really hard to. And I've learned that from a lot of like really successful people too, is that you have to have this like mission and this vision, and all the things that don't fit your mission, just like don't do them. Just cut them off.
Yeah.
You know, until you get there. Until you get to where you want to be. Because you'll just end up doing things half-ass, or it'll distract you from completing the goal. you know. So, yeah, man, I just want to thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I like venting like this. You know, I don't like the question and answer stuff. I just like flowing on the mic.
Yeah.
You know, that's the best ones, you know, just like.
Well, I'm not a reporter anyway, and I'm trying to get better at asking questions. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So, and just like talking to people, you know, and I think you definitely have a lot to share, especially with how kind of where you came from and how far you gotten. And you definitely have a different like mindset and like mannerisms and like way about you than a lot of other fighters that I know, you know?
Yeah. I don't have that, I guess you could say, fighter mentality that y'all say it. Most people, because some people grow up, they're going to be a fighter and they try to be Billy Badass their whole life. And I've always been a good kid, nice guy, respectable. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Helpful, kind. And it just so happened I was good at fighting.
Right.
It's never had the mentality to be a fighter. I was just always good at it.
It's like not defining you. It's like a thing you do.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And just where can people find you? I want to make sure they stay connected with Corey Anderson.
You can follow me on Instagram at Corey_MMA. That's Corey, the letter A_MMA. You can also follow me on Twitter at the same name. And you got the fan page on Facebook at Corey Overtime Anderson, or you can just find me on Facebook at Corey Anderson and follow me because I think I'm at my friend limit with like 1,000 people in my friend request. Yeah. So, but I like to stay active, posting things so everybody knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. I don't tend to get back to every comment or every post, but I do respond back to fan page messages. If you send fan mail out, you send a return envelope, I usually get it back to you. So, I'm doing these live feeds, a lot of different live things, motivational Mondays, and just talking to people myself now. So if you follow me there, you can definitely get some insight on what's going on with me and what's next to come.
Right. Yeah. Because you're definitely a little more, I think, deeper than just like showing your fights, you know, like your training.
Fighting, like I said, fighting is just something I'm good at. Like my mom says, she thinks the fighting is going to be a great platform for my future life or motivational speaking, or whatever it is I do. They can go back and see like it wasn't always like that, but that was how I got to where I am.
That's a great
gave it my voice
way to think about it. All right, man. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate all the support and all the kind words that I'm getting about these podcasts. It really fires me up to want to do more and to help you guys out as much as I possibly can. So if you haven't already, if you can leave a review in iTunes, I would really, really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next episode.